Do I have, like, BO or something? Just everyone, like, avoid the podcast?
I like that's where you go to. I mean, I don't know if we can really answer that.
Go right ahead.
No?
I think it's probably me. Because I work out before.
No, it's not you. I'm going to default to the fangirl for the answer to that.
She smells like an angel.
Exactly. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Threading and Dreading. We have a small crew tonight. Sorry again for the delay on this episode, but we're going to get out a list of these movie trailers, a little bit of future presentations, and to my left we have... Yes, my direct left.
That's me. Took me a while to, not really
we
quite
know,
sure.
we know.
It's the fangirl extraordinaire.
How are you?
And
Eh.
the weather has been getting me all bummed out.
Oh my god. There used to be this thing called the sun. I don't know if you remember it. It's passed into legend at this point, but I haven't seen it in forever.
Sad.
It's ridiculous. Very miserable Memorial Day weekend. How was your Memorial Day weekend?
We went up to
You were at a wedding.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
At your previous venue, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that was interesting. To be there for that. I feel like they kind of like updated it. Oh, like it looks a little nicer in there, which makes me a little sad because I'm just like, why wasn't it nicer at my wedding? But it's okay. Our primary wedding was,
your
in
wedding was
Delaware.
great.
So we like that one better anyway.
Well, the one in New York was good too.
Huh?
The one in New York was nice too.
Yep, I like that too. But no, it was good. Confucius 2.0 got like kind of wasted. And it was amazing.
She was sending me Snapchats the entire time. I just said, "You're drunk, go home." And I didn't respect a response, and then sure enough, I got plenty of responses. Like, "Oh, okay, you are drunk." Okay.
It wasn't me. It was Confucius mainly, but
yes.
but I had a good buzz going, so I tolerated everything he did.
Still way too much food.
Yeah, there was a lot of food.
Of course. That was what upset me at that New York wedding, was that there was so much food I wanted to eat, but there was just so much of it that I couldn't, I physically couldn't eat it. Mm-hmm. I was just like, wait, no, stop, come back. Ooh. Yeah. Wait, no, stop, come back. Ooh.
Well, we were saying, because, we planned out, so for our New York wedding, we had planned out the seating arrangement for everybody. So I think you guys somehow were so awesome that you guys got head table, right? You guys
we were I think we were close to it. Yeah.
You were head table because there were two head tables, I think. You were with my parents.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So you guys were you were head table. And even Bonsai Ben, who is Confucius' brother, didn't get head table status.
That's right, he didn't.
No, because we wanted to keep, other, who, it was Black Lantern, who was,
Right.
We wanted to make sure that he was kept company and everything. And then, so technically, Bonsai Ben would have been with his parents at the other head table. There would have been two head tables.
Right.
But the dystopian, even though I know that it was my dad who invited him to the table, he kind of inserted himself at the head table. And I
don't remember this.
So what had happened was, it was actually...
totally throwing him under the bus right now, but go ahead.
No, this actually happened.
I'm
not kidding.
He wasn't supposed to.
No, he was supposed to be with Black Lantern and Bonsai Ben. He was supposed to be at that table, and the portions of the food was portioned exactly for 10 people. Because the dystopian was there. There were 11 people.
Right.
So there were 10 lobster tails. My mother did not get a lobster tail.
What? Jeez. Oh.
Yeah. So I was a little bit ticked off. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me right now, right? When we assign you a table, you sit at the fucking table.
Right.
Just saying.
I'm gonna throw someone else under the bus. But
Oh.
At least he had the courtesy to show up on time.
That is true. And did not, quote unquote, forget.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't mention names, but he knows who he is.
But it's okay, Dystopian. I still love you.
Oh, good to have you back.
Well, thank you.
Next to the fangirl we have... The Yawner.
Is that my new name?
Yep, the Yawner.
It's probably more appropriate.
His worst names? No.
No,
it is the goddess of gore.
You're taking after this 3-star. You're taking after 3-star stuff. Are you gonna start passing out on us?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, good.
Too many carbs from dinner.
What do you guys have?
Just pasta.
Pasta.
Yum.
And Texas toast.
Sorry.
Yum.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm totally gonna go get Wild Wings myself later.
I know the goddess is looking forward to tomorrow night when we finally get her sister's dog over here. That's going to be fun. We will be doggy sitting little Schnitzel.
Now if I use the exact words of looking forward to it.
But why do we have to? You have to. I don't know why I said we.
Oh, they're going away for the weekend, and they needed someone to watch the dog, so we were semi-volunteered to do it.
Voluntold?
Voluntold, basically. Yeah.
Well, more like guilted into.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't have anyone else to ask. I was like, oh, Jesus.
So, yep. So, we're doing it. And he's fine. He's just too much energy. Way too much energy. We're going to get stuff off of the ground in this room tonight. And hopefully he won't chew everything up. But he should be okay.
You guys going to, like, baby gate it?
Yeah, we'll baby get off this room, and he'll be okay. Well, if there's nothing else, we have a lot of trailers to get through tonight, so let's hop into the first one, which is, sorry if I'm butchering this name, Okja.
This beautiful and special little creature will be a revolution in the livestock industry. Our super pigs will not only be big and beautiful, they will also leave a minimal footprint on the environment, consume less feed, and produce less excretions. And most importantly, they need to taste fucking good.
There's a T in it?
No, but it's spelled with a K, but in the trailer, she pronounces it O-T.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Okja, or...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget how I heard her.
I must have not been paying attention.
It's not pronounced Okja. I know that. She pronounces it a different way. And
I thought she just said Okja. Okja.
It could be, but...
I know that sounded super racist while I said it, but like that's literally what I heard.
You could be right. Directing this, we have Bong Joon-ho. He directed The Host, which is a fantastic Korean film, as well as Snowpiercer, which came out a few years ago. And I've personally never seen Snowpiercer, but I've heard amazing things about it. In this film...
Not so amazing things about it.
I've heard good things. But then you've heard it from, was it a reputable source?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I was
thinking of others.
Oh, okay. I thought it was somebody else. Then I must be thinking about somebody else.
No, it was somebody at work who watched it, and she was like, oh my God, never watched this movie. And I'm
okay.
Like, okay.
Well, some people take it a little too literally. I think it's more allegorical than literal as what's going on in the film. But in this film, we have Tilda Swinton, who is a fantastic actress. Love everything she's been in. We have Paul Dano, also a very good actor. We have Ahn Soo-hyun, who is the little girl in this. We have Byun Hee Bong, who is in The Host. We have Stephen Wen, who you may know from Walking Dead. We have Lily Collins, who is in the Mortal Instruments film. We have Yoon Ji-moon, who is also in The Host. A lot of actors returning from that film that he made, as well as Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, this initially wasn't planned to be a Netflix film. I know when we were first watching this, people were asking why there was the Netflix logo at the bottom of the trailer. And it was because it was initially planned to be a Netflix film, but it has been picked up by them for distribution. It was picked up by Netflix shortly after filming began. The first thing I thought of when I saw this trailer is that we had to talk about this one because the fangirl is going to fall in love with this because it's a big squishy thing.
Yes! No, legit, yes. This is why I can't see it. Like, I was about to cry while I was watching this trailer. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, it was so cute. Like, it was just like, it was like a hippo puppy.
Yeah. But they call it a pig. They call it a super pig, but it basically is like a hippo puppy.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of like the Wuzzles.
Oh yes.
And there was like
we're the Wuzzles.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like brightly colored like they were, but like a mashup of like two different animals.
Yes. But for Fangirl, the Wuzzles, do you know what they were?
No.
It was an old Disney property where the tagline was
Disney?
Yeah, it was Disney. The tagline was 2 kinds of fun wrapped up and rolled into one. It was 2 different animals that were combined to be one cuter animal. So you had like a lion and a bumblebee combined to be a really cute bumblebee lion hybrid thing. Then there was like a hippo and something else.
Forget.
Yeah, you can pull them up. And I remember the theme song. Like, I don't know why I remember that fucking theme song, but yeah, you could. This is definitely a Wuzzle. You could describe it as that.
I didn't think of puppy. I think I thought more of bunny, a hippo bunny,
because of the ears.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it just reminded me like the floppy ears of like like a German Shepherd, like a puppy with like really long ears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But but the thing for me is I think I went to puppy just because
they're the Wuzzles.
Oh, the Wuzzles. But that's like a live like not a cartoony
it
one.
kind of reminded. Well, she's kind of like donkey hippo, but it reminded me of her.
Her, yeah. Because see, the thing is, whenever I see anything with an animal in it, it does not matter pretty much what animal it is. It reminds me of Fandog. Like, it literally it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of animal it is. If it's cute enough, I'm like, oh my god, that's like Fandog. Like,
so when you saw monster trucks, you thought of Fandog.
Well, that wasn't an animal. That was just a cute squishy.
Uh-huh.
Cute squishies are a little different. So this one was more animal-like. Mm-hmm. So like with behaviors where, like just like I don't know, like I can't.
Okay, all right. The premise of this film is that you have this little girl with this huge pet. Like we were saying, it's bigger than a hippo. This animal. And they're
so cute.
And they refer to it as what's called a super pig. Apparently genetically engineered by this company headed by Tilda Swinton. And they say that this thing is basically going to revolutionize the world because it leaves a minimal footprint, it doesn't eat that much feed, and apparently it tastes great. And since it's huge, it will feed hundreds of people at once. So these animals will help, like, basically feed everyone if they so choose. But the problem is because the creature is so freaking cute, no one wants to hurt it. So, well, we don't. Really people may not know initially because I haven't really debuted the animal yet. But this little girl goes to chase after.
Because if she was the one who raised it, or like her and her dad, I think,
right? Who
I guess was the prototype. I don't know what it was, but like she was the one who raised it and she formed a connection to it. And you could see in the trailer that it wasn't just that she was really cute. She also, and I'm talking about the animal here, she was really smart too. That was the thing. Like, and I think that kind of played into it, but I don't know how much of that plays into like, and I think this is going to be a really interesting dynamic of how we talk about this movie and how we talk about animal rights and things like that.
Yes, and I was going to get to that in a moment. Because in part of the trailer, you see Paul Dano, who represents some sort of PETA organization. Yeah. You don't know who, but he comes in and says, "We're here to help you." And you see them basically preparing like a resistance movement. Yeah. Like they're prepping guns, they're prepping Molotovs, they're ready to go to war with this organization over this creature. And I was like, well, power to them, but at the same time, if it's anything like PETA, there's some sort of ulterior motive to it as well. Right. So I wouldn't put too much stock in those people who are trying to help the animal. Right.
Like what their
end goal.
Yeah. That's not what is the word I'm thinking of?
Motive?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you're right, because they may have ulterior motives. Yeah. You don't know what they're not probably purely altruistic with wanting to help this creature. Yeah. There's something in it for them. Yeah. So,
which is, I mean, it's really interesting. Again, just when we talk about the just the debate around animals and whether or not, the consumption of animals and things like that just in general. Because, like, some people are on the side where we shouldn't be eating animals. We should all be vegetarians and things like that. Other people are like, well, this is the food chain. Like, it makes sense that, but... And then there are some people who want to find a middle ground where it's like, okay, we need to find a humane way of doing this. But at the same time, the things that Tilda Swinton's character was saying, it kind of made sense, right? Like, if you had an animal that could technically feed however many and things like that, like...
Yeah, that could replace the slaughter of pigs and cows and all those things. Right. And could, extremely help the world's economy, you know, and feed millions of people. And the environment. It has a minimal footprint, is what she said.
Yeah.
So why not have an animal like this?
So it really depends on, what everyone is trying to say. But I think the issue is, though, it's kind of like, and I know that, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but the idea of, like, even if you're on a farm or something like that, right? Like, whether or not you have animals as pets or animals as, like, part of the family versus animals which are bred to be food or bred to be eaten, it's a little bit different, right? And I feel like there needs to be, like, again, if you try to find a humane way of, producing meat, right?
It's like the idea of free-range chicken farms, where instead of having them locked inside a box their whole life and slaughtering them, it's allowing them to go out and be chickens until it's their time to
be
eaten. Yeah. So that's the idea of it, free-range beef. It's the same thing.
And you don't want to, like...
you don't want them to suffer for their life until their unfortunate demise.
Right. Which, again, is still sad, but
at least they're leading a good life up until that point. And there's evidence to show that free-range food tastes better than the other methods. So the other method is just cheaper and better in mass. So...
Yeah, so you would have to figure out a way of kind of doing that, and people who are willing to do that and that kind of stuff. Right. And it's I feel like it's a very tough debate, for people who, especially for people who actually do love animals and stuff like that, but at the same time want to continue eating meat. It's like, how do you justify it? And
I mean, and not to get too further into this, but I mean, human beings, we are not herbivores or carnivores. We are omnivores, I believe. Yeah. We eat both.
Yeah.
Could we live off just pure vegetables? Sure. That would be a kind of a shitty existence, but we could do it. There are people who do it, and I think that some of them can be assholes because they do it, because they like to throw it over other people, that they think they're better than others because they only do that. But that's a debate for another time.
I feel like that was about to turn into a rant there for a second.
Yeah, I stopped. What's interesting about this movie is that it actually debuted at the Cannes Film Festival just a few weeks ago. And when the Netflix logo came up, it received a ton of boos. Why? Because the Cannes Film Festival and that crowd, by and large, do not support Netflix.
Why?
For several reasons. One is that they believe that film should only be seen in cinemas. They think that seeing a movie in your home theater somehow takes away from the experience. They also think that releasing movies straight to Netflix is destroying the industry of Hollywood.
Why?
Because
for Hollywood.
I know.
Like,
I know. They think it's somehow hurting the art form. But after the film finished, it received a nearly 4-minute standing ovation.
Oh, wow.
So they went from hating it to absolutely loving it. So that's something to look forward to.
Hippo puppy doesn't die.
I hope so too, but it's America. I'm pretty sure they're gonna find a way to
kill it. Okay, well, I'm not watching it.
I don't plan on addressing a whole lot of Netflix films because there are some that definitely shouldn't be talked about, like all the straight to Netflix Adam Sandler films are going to be getting soon because all of his films are going.
Why can't we talk about all of them? Oh my god.
But like, for example, last year or 2 years ago, we should have talked about Beasts of No Nation.
Yes,
which was an amazing film, but because it was Netflix, it didn't get that much press. So I'm not going to make a habit of including every Netflix release because there are actually a lot of them, and there's a lot of crap out there. I'll try to find the good ones, but this looked like one of the good ones, especially since it's had its debut at Cannes Film Festival.
And the cast is
the cast is amazing. Very good cast.
Especially the hippo puppy.
Especially the hippo puppy.
But we still talk about the garbage that comes out in regular.
That's true.
Yes. Because
so why are we
not?
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate because we're not really talking about. We're talking about things that you would go out to the movie theater to see.
Correct.
That's what we typically discuss.
Right.
Theater releases, not.
Because like technically,
you're not even like straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Right.
Let alone Netflix.
Yeah.
Right.
Because technically, I mean, what rating could we give it?
Right.
I'd like to see it on Netflix. Like, I mean,
Done.
Right. Like, yeah. So
You see my point. So again, we're not planning on including many more of these, but because of who is in it,
Tilda Swinton is queen.
And because of the reception it's gotten, I think it deserved to be talked about.
It deserves talking.
It deserved discussion.
Yeah,
It's a talkie?
It's a talkie, yes. I couldn't find the words there, sorry. But would you guys like to see this?
No.
It's gonna break your heart?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to see it first and then tell me if Hippo Puppy dies. If Hippo Puppy dies, actually, even if it's sad, like, I already know it's going to be sad. Like, when, like, you know, they were, like, tasing it or, like, putting a gun to its head or whatever. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, I was already too sad.
Maybe, I'm kind of hoping for, like, maybe a third option for the ending. Maybe Hippo Puppy turns out to be a really dangerous animal. And like
kills everybody.
Kills everyone. Yeah.
Except for the little girl.
Except for a little girl who cared for her.
And her dad.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm totally okay with that. If that happens, I'm seeing this movie.
Okay. I mean, this is the guy who directed The Host, and The Host was a brutal monster film.
Okay.
So I wouldn't put it past him to do something like that.
And then it actually is so smart that it like enslaves all of humanity.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Hippo
It didn't
puppy.
look like it was that.
You wouldn't. So
Hippo puppy.
So you're saying you wouldn't mind being enslaved by a
hippo
massive
puppy?
puppy? Yeah.
Is it the only one?
Yeah.
Right now, he's the only one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then how can
I
there
will
be
be its
more?
ally
You'll be its. Oh, okay.
and help enslave the rest of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Hippo puppy. Hippo puppy.
Let's move into our next trailer, which is Baby Driver.
I'm a driver.
Oh, like a chauffeur. Anyone I'd know?
I hope not.
What is your name?
Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, baby.
It's the one who say listen to the music all the time?
Is he mental?
Mental meaning slow. Was he slow?
No.
He had an accident when he was a kid. Still has a hum in the drum. Plays music to drown it out. And that's what makes him the best.
Now, apart from having one of the possibly dumbest titles I've heard in a while, it reminds me of like Boss Baby, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like, you should have just called it Baby, you know?
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, just call it Baby, you know?
Yes. Yes. That sounds better.
Yeah. Because they say it enough in the trailer. They say his name dozens of times.
Yeah.
And directing this film, we have Edgar Wright. Now, Edgar Wright is a very good director. He's directed Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End. I believe he also...
So it was like he's like Simon Pegg's like best friend.
Yes.
Well, no, the other guy is.
The other
chubby
guy?
Yeah.
Oh, the other guy in those films.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I forget
Well,
that
all three
actor's
of
name.
them were best friends forever together.
Yeah.
They're the three best friends. I can't think of the tune.
We're the three best friends that anyone could
Yeah.
have. We're the three best friends. But he also, I think, wrote Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And he also was initially directing the Ant-Man film, but he backed out because of scheduling conflicts.
Aww.
But he was the writer for Ant-Man.
Oh.
So, very good writer and director.
Yeah.
In this, we have Ansel Elgort. He was in the Divergent series. I know, lovely name. He was also in the...
No, not a... I wasn't doing that about the name.
What were you saying? Just the act? You don't like him?
Well, because like, I associate him with
Divergent?
the Divergent series and also the Fault in Our Stars.
That was the next one I was going to say, The Fault in Our Stars.
And-
Also known as We Make Cancer Sexy.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So, like, I can't get past his... Well, actually, every time I think of him, I think of Shailene Woodley, and that's why I think
There you go. Okay, fine. That's fine. I'm no fan of her either. Okay.
So, yeah, that's why.
Okay. Also in this, we have Kevin Spacey. We have Lily James, who was recently in the Cinderella remake. She was Cinderella. We have John Bernthal, who is Shane in Walking Dead. He was also the Punisher in the Daredevil series. We have Isa Gonzalez, who was recently in Gem and the Holograms. We have John Hamm, who was in the Madman series, as well as Jamie Foxx. So this recently had its world premiere at South by South.
Show just called Mad Men.
What did I say?
You said the Mad Men series.
Yeah.
Sorry, just Mad Men. Sorry. This film recently had its world premiere at South by Southwest, and the early press has been stellar. It's gained nearly perfect scores on both Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic early on, which is quite astounding, considering that this doesn't look like a whole lot more than just like a knockoff of like Transporter or Drive or that.
I think it looks a little bit better.
It does. It does. It does look better.
Like, I feel like the writings and the dialogue seems a little more witty.
Yes, it does. But yeah, the premise of this film is that you have this guy named Baby, and he is a professional driver. He drives people to and from heists, or you can only assume maybe assassinations. You don't know what's going on. You see bad things, yes. And he is employed by Kevin Spacey for the most part. It appears he has some sort of debt that he has to pay in order to. Yeah.
You guys are just awesome linguists.
Yes, we are.
Words.
Feel free to chime in with better words.
Oh, no. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm. You have no right to judge. He has a debt, and he has to work for Kevin Spacey for apparently one more job, which apparently is going to be a very tough one. Now, of course, just before this job, he meets this waitress at a diner, and he gets romantically involved with her, and Kevin Spacey says, I could, hurt her in so many ways. I could, break every toe on her feet, yada, 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 whatever, all the bullshit. Well, and then the rest of it is just him driving like a badass, and admittedly, he is a great driver, using his car like a weapon, and, yeah, that's basically it. The rest of it is just some witty banter.
Unless there's a twist.
What kind of twist would there be?
I don't know. Why would it be so good if that was all it was?
Maybe it's shot very well. Maybe it's better than these others for some reason. Other than that, nonsense, there have to be a twist.
Maybe they're all dead.
What?
That's where you go to? They're all dead.
I don't know.
They're in car heaven? Like...
It's all in his mind. He's in a coma.
The cars which are actually like are controlling everything.
Yeah,
the cars.
That's it.
Oh lordy.
What kind of podcast is this today?
An odd one. Just from face value, what do you guys think of this trailer?
Doesn't look bad. With the name that it had, I was expecting something a lot worse. So I think maybe they did it on purpose. So they're like, all right, here's a really shitty name. So like, you're going to expect the worst. And then you see the trailer and you're just like, oh, well, it, looks definitely better than the name.
Yeah, that's true. I really do wish they would change the name, because that is a really crappy name for a film. But that isn't like a parody like Boss Baby,
Wait, Boss Baby is a parody?
No, not a parody, but like a joke of a title. You see something called Boss Baby, you kind of don't expect something serious.
No.
This is, for all intents and purposes, a serious film.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of comedy in this, except for that end bit with the Michael Myers mask, which did have me laughing pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm shocked it took Hollywood that long to make that joke. They've been set up for that for years.
Did you say Jamie Foxx was in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx was featured quite prominently.
I know. I don't
the whole trailer.
I don't remember him
but he wasn't actually there.
He was dead the whole time.
He was! You don't know! It was a car.
Got turned into the love bug. Cars are actually sentient.
You have no idea. Just wait. Mm-hmm. They're all going to be dead.
Okay. So would you guys like to see this?
But you know what, actually? So, yes. Maybe. Don't know.
Okay.
But it reminded me actually of... I know it's not exactly the same, but it kind of reminded me of Lucky Number 11 for some reason. Like, not...
I mean, Lucky Number 11 was pretty damn dark.
No, it was, but I don't think this was light. Like, this... I don't think this is necessarily meant to be light, but, like, I don't know why, but, like, it was just... It reminded me of it, like, the feel of it for some reason. Because, like, you know, they're talking about killing people and chopping off people's toes. Like, it's not like, ha, 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 so funny, ha, ha. Like, there was not really anything like that. I mean, again, other than that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There was just, yep.
Wavy arm motion.
That's totally what I did. Yeah.
Listeners can't see that. the wavy arm motion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, considering the early press it had, and again, I have friends in Austin who saw the world premiere for this and absolutely loved it. They were raving about it. I would like to see this, and I hope it's good. I hope it lives up to that early press.
Yeah.
This type of film can get cliche in a hurry, and I hope it doesn't go down that road.
I mean, I still think that there's something special about it. If you're saying that people are giving it good press and everything, like, I feel like there has to be something special about it, whether it be a twist or, because I don't know if it's just being shot really well is gonna be enough for it to be that good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there has to be something to do with the story that hopefully that kind of puts it above the rest, because otherwise it kind of doesn't make sense that it's really just a car driving movie,
because it's pretty generic as presented in the trailer,
and
like,
and I think that's why I kind of thought, like, I don't, and maybe that was one of the reasons why it reminded me of Lucky Number 7. Like, it's kind of like there seems to be a straightforward plot to it, but maybe there's something kind of lurking underneath that we don't quite know.
Okay.
And I think it was the air of mystery that, you know, some of the characters brought in to, like, you know, like, who are these people? Why are they all, you know, how are they all connected to each other? And why does this kid who's, like, you know, looks like he's 12, like, I mean, I know he's not, but, like, you know, this guy so much money, like, was it his father's debt, like, that, you know, that kind of carried forward. And then the whole music and the whatever he was saying, like, I don't know, like, there were, like, and maybe it's the kind of the artist, like, not artist, like, what am I, like, the
cinematography,
possibly is the stylized. Maybe that's what it was, kind of like the stylized way of the presentation that reminded me, who the fuck knows at this point?
just gave up. Who the fuck knows? But you would like to see it.
Yeah, possibly. Remember, I went with, possibly. I don't know, maybe. Again, it looks interesting.
Of course, yes, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, kinda. Fuck it.
I would say that this is one of the better trailers that we have, I guess. That one of the ones that I'm more interested in.
Okay.
For this batch, except for one other one that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
You'll see it if they're all dead, right?
Right. And the cars are in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the cars don't have to be in charge, but that would be a bonus. But they're only definitely all dead.
Okay, fair enough.
Can the cars team up with the hippo puppy?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
Can the hippo puppy just be in everything?
Let's move on to our next trailer, which, sorry, we have to include the Emoji Movie.
Welcome to the world inside your phone, where everyone is expected to act one way their whole life.
Aw, snap! Ow.
My name is Gene, and I'm supposed to be a meh. You know, like, meh, who cares? But my problem is, I have more than one emotion.
Check this out.
Huh?
Son, please tell me you weren't laughing just now. What if you get sent out on the phone making the wrong face?
Dad, I'll make the right face. Then I would finally fit in.
Sweetie, you're so handsome when you make that face. I think he's ready, Mel.
Meh.
I think you're pretty cool just the way you are.
Best movie ever.
Directing this, we have Tony Leondis. He is mainly a story artist. Basically, that's just the guy for animation studios who drop the quick sketches for an animated film.
Right.
But he did direct one animated feature, which was Igor. I don't know if you remember that one or not. It was about Frankenstein's assistant going and creating his own Frankenstein's monster. I think Molly Shannon was in that. Anyway.
Was it a kids movie?
Yes, it was a kids film, yeah. Providing voices for this film, we have T.J. Miller, we have Anna Faris, James Corden, Patrick Stewart, Maya Rudolph, Stephen Wright, Rob Riggle, Sofia Vergara, and Christina Aguilera. So, just from the outset, I would say this has a pretty damn good voice cast. And if this was for any other animated film, I would say, wow, this looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
For a voice cast. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's for the fucking Emoji Movie. I will say that this trailer has quickly become one of the most disliked videos on YouTube, acquiring hundreds of thousands of dislikes. I mean, it just goes to show that there's really no bottom of the barrel for Hollywood. You know, they will make a movie out of fucking anything. I mean, if there's... I'm sure there's a fucking fidget spinner movie coming out soon.
Please don't.
There's already
Why are you giving them ideas?
There's a fidget spinner video game.
Oh my god.
Like, why? Yeah, no, that's happening. I'm almost certain it's happening. I don't know who got the patent for it, but
I think the premise of this movie almost makes like the premise for Battleship seem more
plausible.
Yeah.
It's so.
This reminds me of the Coca-Cola commercials. I don't know if you guys had them here, but like when I was in Hong Kong, they were like, so basically within like a Coca-Cola vending machine, like they zoom in like through the money hole or something, and then they go in, and then like it's like a huge land of where all the Coca-Cola is.
Yes,
and, like,
yeah, I've seen one of these where it's like there's big like snow mountain ranges, and then they're like. It's like there's big animals pouring the Coke into bigger bottles.
They have cranes and stuff that pick up the Coke and then like put it in the spot where like the Coke is supposed to come out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know why it reminds me of a Coca-Cola commercial.
Well, no, it's intelligence inside the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost in the shell, if you will. Sorry. But no, something like this actually kind of reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph. Where you have a computer system or a game or something that has its own life that lives outside of the norm that you are supposed to be able to control, but in fact has its own intelligence.
Right, but at least with Wreck-It Ralph, those are actual
characters.
Fledged out characters.
Correct.
And no matter if it's just a silly game where you're Fix-It Felix and you have to go and you're a character. You have a purpose.
Personality.
And you have, a personality.
Like an actual purpose as opposed to this.
Right.
It's like a made up, really forced purpose.
Right.
Right. And I would agree with that. Someone trying to defend this film could say the same thing. Well, all these characters have their own emotions and characteristics too. Just look at their face.
It's a two-dimensional... Like, you can't do any more with it, though. That's a thing.
And that's the point of the movie, is that the guy wants to have more emotions.
Okay,
has
then...
the emoji. And I'm arguing for this stupid logic.
But as an emoji, you don't have a purpose. You don't take actions. Yeah. That's the whole point of an emoji. An emoji. Yeah. it's one singular thing that does not have any action.
Yeah.
Right.
Video games have actions.
Multiple
the characters
actions usually, yes.
take actions.
Yeah.
You can't take something that is meant just to represent something else and give it
because then it messes with people's minds.
Right.
Because no, a meh emoji cannot do all like it's like I almost understand the reasoning behind like the quote unquote logic of what they're trying to do. Just like, yes, no, you're not supposed to be one-dimensional or two-dimensional.
Right.
You're supposed to, you're a very complex person, character, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this is not the right vessel to allow us to tell this story.
No.
Like, if it were like, like, even if they were robots, let's go with robots, okay? I'd still be okay with that because robots have arms and legs already. You don't have to add arms and legs to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I hated him going like, oh, well, I'm an emoji. I'm supposed to have a purpose. Yes, you have a purpose. You did not fulfill your purpose. So you really should go with, with all the other emojis to the room in which you don't, you're no longer used because you fucked it up. Okay, bye-bye. That's it. That's the end of the story. I don't need to know anymore. And also, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
My phone doesn't work like that. It would be super cool if it kind of did, but it doesn't work like that. Like, I can't. Like, this just doesn't make any sense. Like, my brain is hurting. Like, my brain is legitimately hurting from this.
I think you were saying like, oh, trying to be like, oh, well, I do have more than one emotion, whatever. I think like Inside Out did it way better than how this could ever do.
Yes. Because even then, you had a character that was supposed to be one emotion.
Right.
But they were able to portray that emotion in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And also dealt with the psyche of the mind, and in a way that is actually kind of brilliant, This doesn't bring anything to the fucking table.
Yeah.
And I'll say this is basically screenwriting 101 on how you write a script.
Yeah.
You have a character who is disappointed with their life and you're having to live up to their parents' expectations. Then all of a sudden the character does something that upsets the established order, but then meets someone who is like the opposite of them, who they fall in love with in some way, but because of their opposites, they fall in love even deeper. And the only thing to make it more cliche is to have like a prophecy in the film. Once you insert the prophecy, then it's basically just cookie cutter script,
Yeah. And then all the terrible jokes about like memes and stuff that aren't even popular anymore.
Oh my god!
Like "Bye Felicia."
Oh yeah,
those stupid things.
That was great.
Yeah, you gotta love those lovely dated.
Isn't that hilarious?
So hilarious.
I'm still laughing.
But I did have to say that the one where the high five had the candy.
Oh yeah, that was probably the only funny part.
No, see,
I was like,
admittedly,
don't do it. High five. Don't do it. That's already been in your mouth.
Here's the thing, though. Take out the fact that they are emojis, and that scene would still be funny. If it was just two people standing there, and he burped up a piece of candy corn.
Robots.
Or robots.
Right. And they burped up a piece of candy corn, and then the guy ate it again. That'd be funny no matter what they were.
Or like other kind of any other kind of cartoon.
Yeah. Because he kind of had like his cartoon little like pudgy face.
Yeah, that's
cute.
why it was kind of cute. Yeah. It was funny.
So it's got to be a cartoon.
Like
to
if
be
it was
cute and funny.
If it was actually cartoon James Corden, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. Like if this was all done as like the actual cartoonized versions of these people,
right?
I would have been like, that's actually kind of fun. Like I think I might actually watch this. Now, nah.
Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree. And here's the thing: like even the character of Anna Faris, she's played up to basically be like the manic pixie dream girl, which is like a trope in and of itself, where it's the girl who is like, because she's wearing like the wool cap and has the dyed hair, and she's weird and different.
She's wild style.
Yeah, she's wild style, exactly. And it's like and she says stuff like, "Oh, well, you should just be able to be you."
Oh my god, no, fuck! This is the Lego Movie. Like it's no like I mean I don't want to compare it because the Lego Movie is fucking amazing,
right?
But that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. I could see it. No, I could see what you're saying.
Yeah,
because it's setting up for the same thing of them having to go on an adventure to set things right.
Right.
You know,
or like I don't fit in with everybody else because of blah blah blah. Like why am I different? Oh blah 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 blah. Like oh my god, this is so dumb.
Yeah, this is incredibly cliche, and I would say about 90% of these voice actors are better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, T.J. Miller has done some very good voice work over the last few years.
Patrick Stewart
is so much better than this.
Maya Rudolph is in this. Jennifer Coolidge, I think, is in this.
Yeah. I would even say Anna Faris, even though she doesn't have much of a career, she is better than this.
Yes, Anna Faris is better than this. She married Chris Pratt. Therefore, she is better than this.
I don't know if Christina Aguilera is better than this.
Do not go there.
I don't know if Sofia Vergara is better than this.
I like Sofia Vergara. I think she's hilarious.
I'm not a huge fan of her.
She's kind of weird. That's why I like her.
But yeah, again.
But no, everybody in this. No. Like, I can't. Like, everybody in this film is better than this.
Also, the animation isn't even that good. It's
it's emoji.
Okay. Yeah, it's the simplest of animations. And that's the thing. Because all of them are basically just circles, it's the easiest animation to really do. You know, with these, and there are some that are, you know, like eggplants and hands and whatnot, umbrellas, whatever. There's some that are different, but 85% of them are just going to be big yellow circles. That's so fucking simple. It's copy and paste in the entire film, and then get them to move and do certain things.
Like,
wow, way to go.
So my thing is, you know how I'm all for, you know, well, not for it, but like I understand the idea, like, you know, because we talk about this all the time, you know, crap movies, you know, have a certain audience and, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, blah, 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 money, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Right, that whole lovely argument.
I know that we have all the time. And, you know, I'm absolutely for people taking on projects that's going to make the money. But how in the world do they think this project is actually going to make the money? I feel like this has no audience. Kids aren't going to care about stupid round things.
Their logic.
It's not cool enough.
Their broken logic is everyone uses emojis, therefore people would like this movie.
No, but the people who have signed up for this project, I'm talking about like the actors here, right? Like, you know, because we're talking like
the voice actors.
Yeah, the voice actors.
Well, they get paid already, no matter what.
Yep.
Oh, and they don't get any dividends from it?
I don't know.
Very
often,
few do, especially in animated films.
Okay.
Like if you have a live action film, an actor might have a clause where they get 0.1% of the final cuts.
Okay.
But not usually for animated films unless it's a very well-known actor who they're basically banking their name onto the film, like Will Smith in Shark Tale, where they plastered his name everywhere. But even though the film was shit, I'm sure he actually got a little bit back of the profits for the box office.
Okay, so for this, they have already gotten paid.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, well then good on them, because this movie is not making any money. Like, I would not, So I don't know why anybody else thinks this movie is going to make money. I don't understand.
I don't.
Sometimes there'll be like a signing bonus where if like they say, well, if the movie makes more than 100 million in the box office, we'll give you an extra 10,000, you know, in your pay. But that might be it. They won't get an additional per box office after that. Yeah. No, this looks like trash. and it's a shame because, again, given the voice cast, I'd love to see them in anything else. So I feel sorry for the animators. I feel sorry for the voice actors, but
like, is this one of those other, like, what was the other project where there were like a lot of good actors in it, and then it was like an anime food fight?
Yeah, oh yes. Well, there weren't necessarily good ones in that, just kind of well-known ones.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that food fight was Charlie Sheen, Hilary Duff, Wayne Brady, yes, Christopher Lloyd,
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
A few other kind of well-known people. One of the Kardashians, I think, did a voice.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah. Yeah, just names to put on the poster. Yeah.
I feel like...
Yeah. That was one where, again, The voice cast could have done something decent with it, but the animation was complete shit.
Yeah. So basically, is this like another money laundering project or something?
I don't think so. Because, I mean, this is a major studio with names that, I mean, this is getting a lot of advertising. You
right,
know,
this is Sony, right?
This also isn't taking 12 years to make, like Food Fight. You know?
Yeah.
Well, let's get off of that and into Battle for the Sexes. Or sorry, Battle of the Sexes. Battle
for the Sexes.
Someone wins all the sexes.
Oh, boy.
Billie Jean King, already a champion of women's rights, is now the most successful female player of all time.
I am not saying that women don't belong on the court. Who would pick up the balls otherwise?
Oh my God. There isn't a single thing I don't hate about Bobby Riggs.
You know what I'm doing? I'm cooking. I'm cooking. I won the triple at Wimbledon. I could beat Billie Jean King. Does she have the nerve?
Call Bobby. Tell him it's on.
Directing this, we have Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Ferris. They actually directed Little Miss Sunshine, as well as Ruby Sparks, which I have not seen that one, but I did like Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine was good.
Sunshine. In this, we have Emma Stone, we have Steve Carell, we have Andrea Riseborough, who was in the film Oblivion, that Tom Cruise film.
What?
Tom Cruise film, Oblivion. Remember that? Came out about 4 years
with
ago.
Emily Blunt?
Yes.
No,
that was Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep, then I have no idea.
Was that the one with like Morgan Freeman?
Yes. Where everything looked like it was made by Mac. Everything was all white.
White.
Yeah. We also have Sarah Silverman. We have Bill Pullman. We have Alan Cumming. We have, finally, we have Elizabeth Shue, who, of course, Leaving Las Vegas, Hollow Man, great career.
Wait, all of these people are in this movie?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a pretty good cast. Yeah.
I thought you were just naming names after a while.
No. Why would I just be naming names?
I don't know, maybe it was off on a tangent about some other movie or something, or like some other project. I don't know.
No.
So
I didn't realize there were so many people in it.
So I'm actually a little shocked that it's taken Hollywood so long to make a film out of this, because this is, I would say, one of the more compelling events in sports history. I would put it up there, with in recent history of things that have impacted the sport, like the Ali Frazier fight, or fights, or
are there movies about that?
Well, the movie Ali, yeah.
I mean, that wasn't too long ago, though.
Yeah.
It's like, what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe more than a decade.
Yeah. Damn, I feel old.
It didn't seem like it was
that long ago.
Or other big sports films,
Well, I also think it's because sporting events in general have been catered mainly to a male audience, and Hollywood being slightly more male dominated, I don't right now I feel like we are hitting like a rise in feminism, a rise in diversity, or at least wanting to break through that in Hollywood within like the past couple of years. So I think that's probably why this movie is so poignant in this particular era.
And that's true. But I would also argue that the events that occurred here with Billie Jean King, so that's her name, right?
Yeah.
And Steve Carell's character, I forget, Riggs, I think is what I can't remember what his name was.
Bobby Riggs.
Bobby Riggs, right.
Bobby.
The events of this, you could argue, helped really popularize women's tennis. I mean, women's tennis wasn't huge before this.
Right.
I mean, Billie Jean King was a popular name. People knew her. People knew of her. But it wasn't men's tennis, It wasn't...
Women's tennis still isn't men's tennis.
Correct.
It's still not... It's more popular, but women's tennis players, probably just like all women athletes, get paid much less for winning anything.
Yep.
And
it was just actually, like, I think in the past, like, 2 or 3 years that one of the most outspoken female tennis players, Venus and Serena Williams. They had a campaign that just started just like, this is not okay. Like, we put just as many hours into training as the men. Why is it that when we win a Wimbledon championship, like, that we get paid less? Like, that's not okay. And again, so I feel like, again, rise in feminism within sports and in Hollywood, I think is what's giving, I want to say rise again. Yes. Giving rise to the popularity in these films and the subject matter.
The ascension of this film.
Yeah, but but to point to a singular event that kind of, and I see what you're saying about women's tennis, but this definitely increased the popularity of it. You know, to compare it to something else which was not as positive as this, but like the Kerrigan Harding episode in the Olympics back in '92.
That's totally different.
It is, but that popularized women's figure skating.
But that's also a completely, like, it's the portrayal of women in that event versus this, or like versus any. It's not positive.
I agree. But at the same time, I can't think of it. I'm talking about just a singular event that helped boost an entire sport. That's what I'm talking about. So that one was negative. I agree. This is one that was, I would say, far more positive. Yes, it was. So for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, back in the late 70s, this guy, Bobby Riggs, basically started challenging women openly, famous women tennis players, to face him in a match for a certain amount of money. One of the more dominant players at the time, I forget her name, ended up taking up the challenge, but she got beat pretty soundly by Bobby Riggs. Then he challenged Billie Jean King, who at the time I think was the most decorated winner of women's tennis. She wasn't number one at the time, but she was still incredibly good. And he said, well, I'll challenge you for, like $60,000, $70,000. And she said, make it an even $100,000, and we got a match. And I don't want to, should I just ruin what happens? I feel like people might want to see this movie and not know.
No, don't.
No. So the match occurs. I'll just say that they did finally get the match together, and it was a very famous match, and it really helped shape women's tennis after that. So yeah, this was a very compelling story for the time, and I mean afterwards things kind of played out strangely on both sides, but I still think this should have been picked up by Hollywood sooner, because I understand that you're saying there's a rise in feminism now, but I still think this was compelling enough to make a film out of this a decade ago, 2 decades ago.
I mean, I'm not saying that it wouldn't have, but I feel like now seems to be a better time, and just in the sense that it wasn't so much on people's minds before 2 decades ago. Like, I feel like right now, again, as I said, like, with the rise, with the popularity of certain issues, it makes more sense that it's come into the scope of, why we want to talk about something like this.
Of the rise.
Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up.
I will say, I mean, I don't know how much I believe Emma Stone is Billie Jean King. Casting seems odd to me. I feel like there's better actresses to play that role. Now, admittedly, she just won the Oscar.
It's kind of like when they tried to plug Jennifer Lawrence into every single available role possible after she won her Oscar.
And now they're kind of doing that with Emma Stone.
Yep.
Now, admittedly, I like Emma Stone.
Me too. Better.
But I don't know.
I like Emma Stone better.
Yeah, I'm about even with both of them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know Jennifer Lawrence can get on some people's nerves. I don't have any angst towards her. I do think Emma Stone is inherently funnier than Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't know if I would say I like either one more or less. But I just hope they don't start saturating us with Emma Stone, because that could get old in a hurry. Yeah. But yeah, she's coming straight off her Oscar win, and I think she'll do good in this role. I think she'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think she's good to play the role of Billie Jean King.
Who would you have cast?
I'm trying to think of someone else in Hollywood right now who would
Because I mean, I don't know Billie Jean King's personality. That's the thing. Like, I never followed tennis in a way where I would know her personality.
Well, Goddess, you follow plenty of tennis, right? No. More than I would. I would.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Not so much recently, and it wasn't okay. Not in the 70s. I was not born. So no.
Okay. I thought you could travel back in time. What are you talking about?
I haven't perfected that.
Oh, okay.
It's only like a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
A couple minutes.
And then you like implant memories.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much have you altered in my life?
A lot.
Great. Are you doing like the full Stewie where you're going back and fucking with him and make things seem like embarrassing for him? Have you been doing that to me?
No. As far as Emma Stone, I think she looks like her.
Yeah, that's what I just looked at the pictures. I thought that they did a pretty good job with the makeup and the hair and stuff. Yeah.
But I don't really know. Other than that she was a good tennis player. I wasn't best friends with Billie Jean King in 1973.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who would be a better Billie Jean King. All this being said, would you guys like to see this movie?
Actually, yes.
Okay. I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is so rare that we agree on a movie that we want to see.
I would like to see this. I think this is coming out at a time, again, I'll say it, this is coming out at a time that it will be starting to get some Oscar discussion, some award show discussion, considering who is in it. Both leads have been either nominated or have won an Oscar. So
I'd like Steve Carell to win an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw Foxcatcher. I saw some clips, and from what I saw, he was amazing in Foxcatcher. I think he deserved that win.
Who beat him out?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was it what's his face? It wasn't Eddie Redmayne for Theory of Everything, right?
No, was it McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club?
Oh, maybe.
I think that's it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I would like to see this, and I think the cast behind it looks great. The director is a good director. Directors are very good. So yeah, I would like to see this. Yep. Moving on to our next trailer, which is Wonder.
I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. I've had 27 surgeries. They've helped me to breathe, to see, to hear without a hearing aid, but none of them have made me look ordinary.
The incubator, Bunsen burners. Oh, and this is an eraser.
You know what an eraser is, right?
Look at his face. I've never seen anything that ugly in my life.
If I looked like him, I'd swear I'd put a hood over my face.
I know you don't always like it, but I love it. It's my son's face.
You are not ugly, Augie.
You just have to say that because you're my mom.
Because I'm your mom, it counts the most, because I know you the most.
Directing this, we have Steven Shabonsky. He directed the film The Four Corners of Nowhere, as well as The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, okay.
I have not seen either of them. I've heard good things about Wallflower, though.
Me too.
In this, we have Julia Roberts. Sorry, fangirl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instant face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I send you a emoji right now.
Oh, God.
It's going to turn out like this. And by the way,
it's going to turn to the poop emoji.
Yeah.
We also have Owen Wilson. We have Jacob Tremblay, who was playing the young boy in this. He was recently in The Room, or not The Room, just Room.
Yeah.
With Brie Larson that came out last year. A lot of people thought that he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that role. He actually got nominated for a lot of different things for that role.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were shocked he didn't get that. We also have Mandy Patinkin, of course we know from Princess Bride. We also have Daveed Diggs, who is, I believe, currently starring in Hamilton on Broadway. So this is based around...
The guy that wrote it?
No, not the guy who wrote it. He's just in the play. In the musical.
Oh, no, yeah that's...
I don't think that was the name of the guy that did everything.
No.
That's Lin... What was it? Lin...
I can't recall his name.
Lin-Manuel Miranda?
That sounds right. I'll go with that. This is based around the 2012 novel of the same name, which is actually a 3-part series. So depending on the success of this film, we'll probably get 2 more in this.
Are you serious?
Series. Yeah, it's a 3-book series.
Oh.
Yep.
Some might also call it a trilogy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is a trilogy. Well, it may not... I mean, I don't know how many more they're writing, so it may not end up being a trilogy. It may end up being a qualogy. So, we'll see if it continues. What?
Or they could be done. There are some authors that actually only write... Like, they set out to write a trilogy.
And
yes,
then they finish the series at 3.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
I understand that, but as sometimes a series will get very popular and then up writing a 4th just to get more money coming in. That happens.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too.
Well, I was saying first.
I'm not saying anything at all.
Now, initially, before we sum up the plot here, my initial impressions of this is that it's a modern retelling of Mask. If anyone ever saw Mask.
I have never seen it, but I know of it.
Like the Jim Carrey?
No. Not The Mask. Just The Mask.
Room.
Yeah.
That little article is very important.
No, Mask was a film back in the 80s. It was about a guy called Rocky Dennis. And it starts... What?
I don't know. Usually you would say a guy named Rocky, a guy called.
Oh.
Sorry. It was about a guy called Rocky Dennis who had a condition that made him extremely deformed. I forget the actor's name who portrayed Rocky.
I don't remember. All I remember is Sharon.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's a lot smaller.
No. The guy went on to have a pretty decent career after that. But the prosthetics for the time were very impressive. But yeah, this again, it was biographical. I don't recall when this transpired or where it did. But
I'll Google it.
Okay, this story does remind me a lot of that, where it's the guy who's been kind of sheltered his whole life.
Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz. That's right. Yeah, and he's had a pretty decent career. He's been in a lot. But this kind of reminds me of that, except it's just a younger version of him.
Well, are they going to make more of the books, more of the movies, which means like he's going to grow up to be that?
He's going to grow up to be Rocky Dennis? That'd be a shame. Right off the bat, I'll say, I mean, this kid has a little bit more going for him because his mom isn't Cher. But the premise of this film is that you have this kid who's going into 5th grade, and he walks to school wearing this big astronaut's helmet, and he's ready to take it off. It turns out that he is slightly deformed. It turns out he's gone through 26, 27 plastic surgeries. He was very, very deformed when he was young, and when you look at him, you can tell that he's had a lot of work done, but he doesn't look that bad. You know, it's just, it's just a little off. Well, of course, the kids in the school, not all of them, but there are some who are just extremely cruel to him, extremely mean, because children are assholes. But there are some who are decent to him. Some that are trying to be nice and trying to, accept him for who he is and his differences, just like every person has. And then them growing to like him for who he is. It's a very simple story, but it looks like it's going to be nice. It's just a simple, heartwarming tale.
Heartwarming and gut-wrenching at the same time.
Yes, agreed. Right off the bat, I will say the prosthetics for the kid look good, and the kid is emoting pretty well through the prosthetics. And considering he just came off that great performance in Room, I think this is a good choice for this role. I think he's going to do very, very well. The supporting cast is also great. I know you're not a fan of Julia Roberts, but...
Me?
Couldn't be. No, but I think the supporting cast is also good. I mean, this is simple. This is a simple story, and it's going to be hard to get this
unless
wrong.
There's a twist.
Oh my god.
Where they're all dead.
Do you want everyone to be dead? Is there something you have to tell us?
I hate everyone everywhere.
Not our listeners, though.
No.
No.
And not you guys.
No, listeners are great. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I knew you were going there, but I just couldn't stop laughing.
Holy crap. So this being said, I'm going to go ahead and label this the first Oscar bait film of the year. I mean, because this type of movie is really pulling at those emotions because the cast who's behind it and the emotion that's going to be drawn in and the child performer who is in it. This definitely feels like Oscar bait. I mean, they're really, really trying to pull those heartstrings, you know? So, I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think it will be probably quite good. I just don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to see this, because I've seen this story done several times before. I mean, and this one will probably be good, if not better than those, but I've just seen the story, you know?
It's going to be a no for me.
Okay.
But not just because of the Julia Roberts thing, because I can tolerate her. I don't like her, but I can tolerate her unless it's like a dumb movie that I don't want to see. Which really isn't really saying much. But I think the reason why I can't watch this because I know it's going to make me cry. Like, I was watching the trailer and I was tearing up. And I can't, I'm just like, no, not happening. So next. Like, I just, yeah, no. And, yeah.
I know the twist. Turns out he's 10. And that...
He's a tank?
No, not tank. He's 10, and then 11 shows up to help him.
Oh.
Yeah, that.
No.
Nope.
Oh, come on! How is that not a great twist?
Because they're all dead.
No! Jesus. Do you guys have anything else to say about this one?
I mean, it doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't look bad. I think it's going to be probably pretty good. I'm not interested in it.
It's not. It's not the kind of movie I typically
go
to see.
Right.
Yeah, same.
And it's something that if I have a friend who wanted to watch it, I was like, all right, sure, let's go ahead and sit and watch this. But I probably would not, again, want to see it or go out of my way to see it. But if it was on and I heard it was good, yeah, sure, I'll see it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would say to the friend, nope. But there was something else I wanted to add. One thing I was really confused about, like, you know how they had the little girl talk to him in that scene, and then like all the other scenes, like she's like completely gone. Like,
yeah,
you would think that she would have become like part of the friendship group or something.
Right.
Oh, she dies. I'm joking.
I was gonna say that.
I mean, how did I not see it coming? But that hit hard. See, it's okay if they're all dead together, but if it's just the one, that's not okay. Oh God, we're all
this podcast has gotten very morbid. We need to move on.
Yeah.
To our next trailer, which is feature presentation. Our next trailer, which is a trailer redux, which is Despicable Me 3.
I'm so excited for this!
So, how are things career-wise? Haha, great.
You let the most wanted villain just get away. You're fired!
So great. Crushing it. I brought you here to continue the family business. Villainy is in your blood.
C'est gros con boobs.
I left that life behind me. I understand. I wonder what this does. Holy moly! Become a villain again. That's pretty nice.
I've been like waiting, like I've been in this seat, like going like, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? When are we talking about it? When are we talking about it? But okay.
Okay, so
I'm ready.
I will say there are a lot of good aspects and bad aspects of this trailer for me. I'll say first off, good aspects. I like the fact that Gru is going back to being a villain. I do like that because I think the character was at his best when he was a villain. I liked that character. He was fun. He was over the top. And he could still have the girls and the wife, and that's fine. He can still be a villain with those, you know? But I thought that character was cool and inventive and did really amazing things as a villain, you know? And I thought that he could be more of an anti-hero at that point, you know? So I like that they're going back to that. I will say I don't like Twin Gru. I think that that's just a more annoying version of Gru. I'm sorry, I don't like the character. It's basically Steve Carell just going up a pitch, doing the exact same voice, and just having him have hair and wearing a white outfit.
Yeah.
It's the exact same character. And I'm like, you couldn't have done anything else with him? I mean, guys, that seems really, really lazy to me. You know,
but they're twins.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have done something else.
It didn't bother me. Like, I feel like it, but it didn't bother me.
Right. I wasn't quite, I don't know, I wasn't convinced about it.
Convinced about the twinness or not convinced about the movie?
Just about the twin in and of
okay.
itself. I couldn't get a handle on him.
Yeah, well, I mean, we discussed this in an earlier trailer. If it was just about the lead villain in this, Balthazar Blatt.
Yeah.
If the story was about him and him being like exiled from the good group of like anti-villain people, and then him maybe becoming a villain to fight the villain, that I think could be a compelling story. I think that would be cool. Mm-hmm. You could knock out the whole twin plot with that. Yeah. You wouldn't even need it.
I don't think it was necessary.
Right. And so I'm just saying that doesn't bring a whole lot to this story.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's why it doesn't bother me as much, because it's almost like it doesn't matter. Like, and I kind of almost wish that it wasn't Steve Carell doing the twin voice. I was hoping, like, as you said, like, if they did something different, like, if it was
how could it be like to get like someone with a really well-known voice to do the other role of like someone who just looks like Gru,
right?
Like get someone, I don't know, like
like someone with like a deeper, like, you know, like James Earl Jones, or like,
oh my god, that would be good. Now I'm thinking someone sinister like Gary Oldman, because he is a villain. Like get someone like Gary Oldman, or even
James Earl Jones is a villain.
What's that?
Darth Vader. Yeah.
No, but yes. But I'm
the most villain.
I know.
But I'm not saying going as deep as James Earl Jones.
Right, but something just because I either someone who's like opposite of Gru, like that that would not be that, because I feel like Gary Oldman would still, or like if
because everything else is up, like he has hair and he wears white,
right?
So
like something like
his voice could be opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that would be a nice contrast to that character.
Yeah.
You know? And considering they were separated at birth, it would make sense for him to sound a lot different. Yeah. You know? Like, he could have had a completely different upbringing.
Because, like, I feel like Gru, despite the fact that, you know, he tries to be all emo and stuff, like, he's still a pretty upbeat kind of guy. Like, I would have, like, wanted someone who, I thought he was, like, the twin was going to be, like, really, like, much darker, sullen, kind of, like, yeah. Okay, like, you know, that kind of character, like, like, because, you know, Gru's surrounded by the minions who are happy, the girls who are happy. Like, I was thinking of, like, the twin being, like, actual evil, where it was just, like, yeah, okay. Like, you know, sarcastic, snarky, you know. But this was not, like, when I saw, like, I was like, this is not what I was expecting. Like, so... But again, it didn't matter as much to me. But like, it would have been more fun if I think they took it in a different direction.
Right, and I'm the same way. I will also add, and I'm prepping myself for things being thrown across the room.
He's about the minions.
I know.
I'm burnt out on the minions. I'm sorry. I'm burnt out on the minions.
There haven't been like minions things since the Minions movie,
right?
Which is like a couple of years ago. How can you be burnt out on something that wasn't around?
They're still everywhere. They're saturated our entire culture. There are
our entire culture.
Yes,
our entire culture.
Entire
culture.
Okay,
That's a bit of a stretch.
I have minion emojis in my phone.
Whose fault is that?
It came with Samsung. I didn't put them in there.
I don't have it.
I'm just saying that
you have a Samsung phone.
I do.
Maybe it's a newer version. I don't know.
Oh, now he's saying that his phone is better than yours.
I'm not saying that.
Are you going to take this from him?
She can update her phone at any time. She's had it for a while. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad people find them funny.
It's not just
but
that.
they're like in jail and they're like taken over. How can that not be adorably funny?
They've taken over the jail. They are the bosses in the jail. They like how? Explain to me.
Let me ask you a question. And this might be solved with this movie because again, Gru is becoming a villain. Wasn't one of the things with the Minions that they had to be attached to a villain? That was set up in the Minions movie, right? That if they were
trying to find like an evil leader, right?
Yeah, they had to have an evil leader.
But then
when Gru went straight, shouldn't they have wanted to leave Gru?
Well, no, they've attached themselves emotionally to Gru at that point.
And the girls, for that matter.
And the girls, yeah.
But again, they're not doing evil things, and the Minions need that to survive. We saw all the other Minions.
They needed a leader to survive. They needed stuff to do. And I would think that toddlers and evil and Gru's type of evil are pretty much the same thing. Toddlers are pretty damn evil.
I would agree with that.
So,
But
say.
Maybe I misread the Minions movie. It seemed like to me that they had to attach themselves to someone who was doing evil, not necessarily
people.
No,
Minions change.
They called
they
them,
evolve.
No, they kept. They did. They kept referring to the person in the Minions movie as the big bad. That they had to find the big bad, and so
you don't understand Minion language. You don't know how to define. No, I mean I really do think that. Okay, continue.
No, but if I'm wrong, tell me. But it seems to me that's what they were trying to do. If Gru is no longer evil, should they not want to leave Gru? Now he's going to become evil again in this, which is why maybe they stick around. But
I don't think. But the only reason that they left the other leaders they had was because their leaders died.
Yeah,
they weren't like.
But with the abominable snowmen, they were kind of dying out there, even though the snowmen or the Yetis were still around.
No, they were by themselves.
They were all alone.
They were with the Yetis for a while, but then they were like the Yetis were killed or something. Like they accidentally killed the Yetis.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, I remember that the Yetis did die.
Yeah. So and then they were all by themselves again.
Yeah.
But all the leaders they attached themselves to were bad leaders. They were evil people.
Right. So then they found Gru, right? Who was quote unquote evil. Even though Gru really wasn't very evil. So then but Gru has not died.
Yeah.
So they found Gru
yet.
And they are with him.
Yeah.
So and they've already he knows all their names.
So and they're emotionally attached to Gru.
They have an attachment to Gru. They're not just going to
find a
leave
new leader.
him. Even Dr. Nefario tried to leave Gru when he was no longer evil, and then he came back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Minions aren't just going to leave him.
Because they're not, just dum-dums. Like they're not just...
They don't just have, a evil radar that they have to follow.
No, I think they need to follow a leader. And previously, it was as, it was the, bad evil people or evil whatever, because even if you really think about it, they just needed to follow a leader because they were following a Tyrannosaurus Rex for a while, right. And technically the Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't evil, it was just at the top of their game. It was what am I trying to say, they're at the top of the food chain or the top of the pyramid or whatever, the pecking order. So and then so once they found Gru, as you said, they attached themselves to him, and because he hasn't died yet, because well, where this night is going, I don't know what's gonna happen to any of them. But yeah, they haven't he hasn't died, and I think it's they never got a chance to realize what they're really supposed to do with their lives,
right? Their
beforehand.
purpose,
yeah. Until they found Gru, because they were able to stick with him for much longer, because they were with him since he was a tiny little boy, and now he's a grown man with a wife and kids. If you see them as kind of pets or something, your pup isn't they're gonna follow whoever until they're not
70 million-year-old pets. Because the minions, we've established at this point, are immortal. They don't die.
Yeah, they're been the same. Minions.
It's been the same minions.
Then you can test on them forever, and they don't die.
To me, everything we said made perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you like them. I don't like them anymore. I'm sorry. I'm burnt out on them.
You never liked them to begin with.
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
Get that straight.
That is
true.
I
thought they were funny in the first film. I did.
And then I remember him saying something along the lines of, "Oh my god, if they ever make a Minions movie," and yeah,
and then they did,
and then it kind of went on from there.
I didn't wholly hate it. I just wasn't a huge fan of it. Thought it could have been better. And
I didn't think there was like too many minions in this either. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, minions. Like it wasn't like that. There were just like a couple of scenes every now and then with the minions, and I don't know. Like I feel like, again, I can't say anything bad about the minions because I identify with Bob like so much.
That was perfect.
It really was.
So they don't saturate our culture. Mm-hmm.
No, just because I play a game with them doesn't mean that it's saturating the culture.
Mm-hmm. No.
Our entire
culture. Our entire culture, yeah. I mean,
I don't know what more to really say about this.
That it looks amazing.
I don't understand why you're so angry.
I know. Like about the minions.
It's the studio. It's the studio, Illumination Studios. I'm growing to be not a fan of this studio.
Because of the minions?
No, not because of the minions, but because of their business practices.
Okay.
And I haven't really talked about that much. It's come out recently that this studio severely underpays their animators in order to spend as little on these movies as they can.
Which I think is completely legitimate, but don't hate on the minions because of that.
Yes, but from an animator's perspective, it's pretty much just cut and paste for minions. And it's very simple to render them. It's very simple to animate them.
But that still doesn't mean that they're not adorable.
But they're cheap, is what I'm saying.
And that's a completely different point. And that's not something that we agree or disagree with you because we don't know much about it.
Right.
But that's completely different. Like I feel
that is totally different.
Yeah. Like and you can say that, and I wouldn't say no, Michael. Like sorry, no, Projectionist. That's wrong. Like I wouldn't say that to what you're saying because I feel like that's a whole nother can of worms. That's different from what we were just talking about. Because yeah, if it's shady business practices, no, like shady business practices suck.
Right.
I can stand behind that statement.
Even though it makes a profit. Which
it
is what
sucks morally. It sucks morally, but that doesn't mean that. Again, like, are you going to cut off that revenue stream? That's what I was saying. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Right? We're going to be getting guaranteed 5 more films starring minions. It's already been greenlit.
And until it gets, it's just kind of like TV shows with like multiple seasons, even though they start to suck after 2. It still happens. Is a network going to cut its cut its moneymaker just because it sucks a little, but people are still watching it? No, not really. Like, and is that what you're asking them to do?
No, I'm asking them to do something different and unique with them for once, or maybe animate them a little differently instead of just again copy and paste. And we've talked about
whatever.
Yeah, like I can't repeat myself over and over and over again at a certain point.
We can move on to our final trailer of the night, which is a trailer Redux, which is War for the Planet of the Apes.
Who is Child?
I don't know.
But she was you.
She has no one else. We are not savages. Apes fight only to survive.
Bad human kill ape. All dead now. A long time. Long time.
Bad humans.
Soldier.
I will say every trailer for this movie has gotten progressively better. We've only talked about, this is only the second one we've talked about, but there's been 3 or 4 up until this point, and each one has gotten progressively better. And this one, which we saw hints of in an earlier trailer, but we didn't really know what was going on, we actually see at least one gorilla working with the humans.
Yeah.
As possibly others at the same time. And I was like, well, what the hell's going on here? Is there like a separate faction of humans and apes working together? Or are they on the side of Caesar? What's going on?
Just like traitor apes?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Woohoo! I got it right.
It turns out there is a faction that broke off from Caesar at the end of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which we have not seen and I really, 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 really want to see. But broke off from Caesar and decided to basically side with the humans at that point. And so when this is going on, they are essentially helping the humans kill apes. And I don't know how to feel about that. You know? I don't know what the end game for that is. If they're just going to say, you know, are they going to grant these apes clemency at the end of it? You know, are they going to say, well, you can now like stay with us since you fought the apes? But then the humans are fighting away like Apache helicopters. Are the Apache helicopters being flown by the enemy apes? Like, what is happening there? It's a lot of questions, because when I saw the humans and apes working together, I assumed that there were some humans working with the apes. It doesn't look like that's the case. So a lot of questions are being raised here. Questions that I really, really, really want answered. Also, the motion capture and voice acting continues to impress me. And you guys said you didn't even recognize that it was Andy Serkis, right?
No, I did not.
Right. So that, I think, just speaks volumes to his voice acting, but also his motion capture ability. Because since the first film, his ability to portray Caesar has been stellar. It's blown my mind, and he's so good in this role. And it really makes me want to stand back and say, there needs to be like some category for this at the Oscars or something, you know, where they can recognize the talents of someone like this, you know? Because just because he's not being recorded by a traditional camera doesn't mean he's still not giving a fantastic performance. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, first, have either of you seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
I have not.
Did you see Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
I have not.
Really? You haven't seen either one?
I don't watch movies with animals in them because I get sad.
Okay. So you're not looking forward to this then?
I am not.
Okay.
Because I just can't. Like I don't know why. Like animal movies just get me. Like it's just like, ugh, it hits me in the heart.
Well, we talked about the big squishy one earlier. I know.
Yeah. The hippo puppy.
So.
Which side are we supposed to be rooting for?
Well, that's really up to you. I mean, that's one of the weird things about this. For me, I'll just go ahead and say I'll probably side with the apes. And I'd be one of the lone humans fighting alongside the apes, because the humans in these films, for the most part, are massive assholes. In the first film, the apes were experimented on. And the second film, from what I can infer, they're basically blaming the apes for what happened.
Right.
And this one, both sides have taken a lot of casualties, and now they're basically just saying, well, one of us has to lead this planet.
Can, like, everybody just die?
Oh, God,
I can't believe we went full circle there. And that was actually serious. It wasn't a twist.
Well done. And there have been, like, in the previous timeline, the one with Charlton Heston, there have been elements of the story that led to that. Like, there was a race of subhumans that were like living underground that worshipped an atomic bomb. And the end game was basically, if the apes don't let us lead, we're going to blow up the planet.
Oh,
and
that's sad.
Yeah, and that basically is what ends up happening. But then,
why can't they just live peacefully together?
Well, you would hope that. And then what happens is that in that canon, there are several apes that go back in time to try and basically those events from happening. It turns out those apes going back in time is what set in motion the Planet of the Apes. So it's all cyclical, you know?
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. But by that point, going back actually helped make some things worse, but some things better. Because once they got back, they realized, oh, there's these talking apes. What the hell are these things? And they got people started experimenting on them, kind of what happened with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and it led that whole chain again and kickstarted the whole Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, because like I have no idea what the timeline for these movies are.
Well, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was advertised as a prequel to everything, to even the original series.
Okay.
Because in that, the first one with Charlton Heston, the plot was that he went away in a spaceship, came back and crashed on a planet. Spoilers, it turned out that planet was actually Earth, just way far in the future.
Yeah, how did he do that?
When he entered through time, he entered into basically a wormhole of some sort with his crew. And then when they landed back on Earth, it was way in the future. Which, of course, they didn't know until the very end of the film when they saw the Statue of Liberty, that famous scene, "Damn you all to hell." Well...
Yep, because I know all about it.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes was supposed to be a prequel to the events of that ship leaving. Because you actually saw that ship on television taking off. So those events hadn't occurred. So people were like, oh, so this really is a prequel to Planet of the Apes. But then the events started changing, where now it's no longer the apes evolved from humans or vice versa, and they took over. It turns out mankind was wiped out by a virus created by man, and that the apes were immune to it. And that's why they started to take over. So they started changing some things. So it turns
basically it was man's fault. Everything was man's fault.
Exactly, which is why people have said, fuck humanity in these films.
Yeah.
They're kind of assholes to the apes.
And they're just being stupid to themselves.
Right.
Die.
So in this you have the leader Woody Harrelson, who's just being a massive asshole to the apes, It
seemed like Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson playing Woody Harrelson. But he's being a massive jackass towards them. What's that?
But meaner.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically, they've basically just said, like, even in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, they were still trying for peace. They knew that the peace wasn't maybe going to be an option. Both sides wanted war. But Caesar and I think it was Gary Oldman's character in that film were trying to have peace, but they knew it wasn't up. Here it's just like, no, there's no getting around it now. We're going to have war. And there's really isn't going to be much peace on either side here.
Yep.
So that's what it's come to. But then you have a little girl who has kind of been... who even the apes are like, well, we can't just slaughter a little girl, and then she gets adopted by the orangutan, which is kind of interesting.
I would assume she's the key to all of this at some point.
We don't really know.
You would think so, right?
No, well, what it couldn't for, because in Planet of the Apes, the humans are basically slaves. And it could be like, that's her first step is like, well, we don't want to slaughter the humans, but we also aren't going to give them freedom. So let's basically like adopt them as pets. And maybe that's what she becomes. She's the first experiment for that. Where she's like, okay, well, we're going to care for this human and make sure she's well fed and she's groomed well and that she's nice, but we're not going to give her freedom. We're just going to let her basically be an ape, So that could be what she is, and she's the start of that.
Interesting.
So all of this being said, I know that was a lot to infer from this trailer. Would you guys like to see this? And got your answer, Fangirl.
Yeah. I mean, no. Like, yes, you have, and no, I would not.
No, I'm sorry.
Because animals.
Yeah. You like the story, but you wouldn't want to see the story. Like it sounds like you're interested in the backstory of it.
Yeah. Like that kind of stuff just is.
But you just can't see animals.
Yeah, I don't like animals dying and stuff like that, and sad things. So.
Okay. Goddess?
No, I haven't seen the other one.
Ooh. Does this one interest you at all?
No, because I haven't seen the other one.
Okay.
She needs to see things in chronological order. Like, because if she hasn't seen it, I'm just like, hey! And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I know. I shouldn't have even asked.
Is that really how that happens?
No, it happens in my head. And then because I'm really sad, even though it, like, isn't what actually happened. I'm just like, okay, it's just sad.
Nothing else to talk about with that. Let's move into feature presentations. First one being Captain Underpants. Yeah, we actually did not talk about this one on the podcast. There was no time to fit it in. I apologize for that. And this one actually deserved to be talked about. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. I mean, I know Captain Underpants was kind of a popular property back in the day. I was never a huge fan of it.
My brother had a lot of the books.
Did he really?
I don't know. He might have had like one or two.
Okay.
And I might have like embellished a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever had any of the books. I thought Captain Underpants was like a legitimate like superhero. Like that's what he thought he was. I didn't know it was some brainwashed principal. Or I mean, I don't know if that's something that's new they invented for this movie. I don't know.
Like that, I don't know.
Right, but. I mean, the animation looks quite good for this. I mean, I think it's the same studio that did the most recent Peanuts remake. I think it's the same studio.
Oh, I still need to see that.
You haven't seen the Peanuts remake? As much as you love it?
No, I have not.
Okay.
And I really, really, really need to.
Okay. Yeah, premise of this one is that you have these two kids who like to draw comics and and basically write their own stories. Their principal is kind of an asshole, and one day they actually manage to hypnotize the principal and tell him that he's Captain Underpants, and he goes for it and then parades around the town as Captain Underpants. And that's basically it. So it's a silly premise, a simple premise, but would you guys want to see this?
I don't think I'd go out of my way to see it.
Okay.
And, unlike the goddess who has, nieces and...
An excuse.
Yeah. To go see it, I feel like I don't. I mean, there are some animated movies where I'll be like, yeah, I don't, but I feel like this is one of them where I actually need a kid with me. And, wow, I'm not creepy.
Just go with the goddess and her nieces. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would do that. Because I was thinking of just taking a kid off the street and then be like, "Hey, you want to see Captain Underpants?" No, but I feel like that might not pan out.
Especially if they don't know that you're talking about a movie.
Oh God! I didn't even go there.
Nice.
That's not good. Please scratch that off the official record.
Nope. Moving on to our next feature presentation, which is Wonder Woman. This is a big one. The early press for this has been very, very good. A couple of the early reviews have been snuck in on YouTube and online. And I hope this is as good as the early press is saying. I want this to be good. In fact, I just saw a joke earlier, I mean, about this, where it was the Witch King from Lord of the Rings, and it said, "Fool, no man can make a good DC film." It cuts to the director and says, "I am no man." It's like, nice! I like it.
Wait, I missed that. Can you say that again?
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
The Witch King.
Wait.
Did you miss everything?
No. But the fact that you had to ask me, did I see Lord of the Rings?
Okay. The Witch King. When he is attacking Éowyn in the fields of Pelennor.
Yeah.
He says, "Fool, no man can kill me."
Right,
and this, it's "Fool, no man can make a good DC film." At which point it cuts to a picture of the director of Wonder Woman, and she says, "I am no man."
Oh,
and he goes, and he recoils.
Love it.
I was like, that's great. I like that. I really want this to be good. A couple early reviews said that there was a little bit too much focus on Chris Pine.
Ugh.
Which, I mean, I don't hate Chris Pine, but he should not be the focus.
Yep.
But I really want this to be good. I hope the early press is correct. So, what do you guys think about it?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it
plenty. Yes,
a lot of times.
We've talked about it a lot.
And every single time, I've been excited about it. Mm-hmm. And as, Wonder Woman means a lot to me. So, I really, same with you, I really, really want it to be good. Mm-hmm. If it's not, I'll curl up in a ball and cry.
Aw.
So, better be good.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hope, not too much Chris Pine.
Okay. Got us?
Still will feel the same way I felt about it before.
Not really excited for it.
Don't care either way. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I may actually like want to go on my way to see this soon. Would you go with me?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I come?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Our next feature presentation is My Cousin Rachel. We just recently talked about this one. This is I forget the character's name who played Finnick, that actor. Oh God.
Oh, don't do that.
Sam
Claflin.
Yeah, Claflin. Yeah, as well as Rachel Weisz. And it's the film about it's like a incestuous relationship taking place.
Yeah,
and,
I still didn't understand after watching the trailer what it was about.
No,
or
it's
like their relationship. Or
it's
anything.
pretty hard to infer. It's a very complicated relationship. It seems romantic at times, then kind of
obsessive.
Obsessive, then motherly, and then it's very, very confusing. Yes. That being said, I think the cast is good. I think the performances will be good. And I would like to see this, but I am not going to go out of my way to see this. No. Especially, I mean, again, it's just confusing. And Goddess, you had said you had read a book from this author who wrote this story, right? I forget what that. It was another name.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, that's right. Right.
Victoria.
Yeah, I totally said Victoria. There was an ah at the end, so
this is true.
I mean, does that sway you in any way because you like this author? That you might want to see something like this?
I don't know. It depends on if this plot has any of the same kind of sense of like mystery and not quite like paranormal, but like that kind of feel to it. If that's the case, maybe, but I can't tell from the trailer.
Okay, that's fair. Fangirl?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I mean, not my type of movie. Period pieces in general are just not really my thing.
All right.
And it was confusing enough in the trailer that it didn't do anything to really draw me into wanting to kind of see more of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm confused enough. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. Moving on to our next feature presentation, It Comes at Night. This is one we only talked about once, I believe, and it was a teaser, not the full trailer, featuring a family cooped up in a home. There is something evil in these woods outside their home. There's only one door that goes in and out, this big red door, and of course someone accidentally leaves it open one night, so whatever was out in the woods is now in their home. The early press for this has been very good. I was just telling the Goddess about this the other day, Fangirl, that in Texas, in Austin, they just had the premiere for this film. Mm-hmm. And for the premiere, they got about 150 people and put them on a school bus on like hazmat suits, told them all to wear masks, then drove them out to a secluded location where there was a screen set up, and they played the movie for them.
Oh my God, what the hell?
And it said, like, set up the atmosphere. I'm like, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
That's like that full immersive experience.
I was like, that's pretty damn
Wait, so
cool.
does that mean that there's some kind of like chemical type of...
It's something in the air. Okay. In the trailer, you saw the guys going outside with gas masks. So there's something in the air. We don't know what. If it's a plague or if it's a virus or something.
Right.
In one of the previews, I saw a shot of this girl kissing a guy in a bed, but when she leans back up, there's like blood pouring out of her mouth onto the guy.
That sounds fun.
Or some sort of sludge. You know what was happening. I was like, what the fuck? So someone's infected with something.
Okay.
Or there's people pretending, or there's things pretending to be people. We don't know what.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are always fun.
Yeah. Body Snatchers-esque, yes. I really want to see this. I hope a theater around here picks this up. The early press has been great. And again, it's A24, who I'm in love with.
We know.
Really, really want to see this. What do you guys think?
A hard no.
Figured as much.
Yeah. I would not be able to sleep for 3 days.
You only go in for The Witch for A24.
What?
For A24, you only go in for the Witch.
Yeah, The Witch was good. I liked The Witch.
I'm saying that's as far as you go for horror. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, kind of like, even though it was like full on horror, I felt like that was still more subtle horror than like Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird.
I gotta stop. I know you just said horror, but it sounds like you went full on horror. I was like, what? Full on? Like,
yep,
no,
that's what I go. I go full on horror for A24.
Oh God.
No, that's not you. That's him.
Oh, right.
Right.
That's his slogan.
Yeah.
Full on horror. Goddess?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would see this.
Okay. Hopefully a theater around here will pick this up. It's a smaller film, but I would really like a theater to pick this up. And finally, our last feature presentation is The Mummy. Oh boy. It was just, I don't know if you saw the press release put out by Universal for this recently, where they're calling this whole universe now, they're calling it the Dark Universe.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's no longer the Universal Monsters universe, it's just the Dark Universe. I'm like, really? You couldn't come up with something better than that? I don't know how I feel about this. I loved the Mummy mythos. I think it's a great mythos. I think there's a lot you can do with it. And this has something to do with the fact that the Mummy is a girl. I think that's actually a great way to continue this. I just don't know how I feel about them continuing the series in this capacity with this massive, cinematic universe, And it's not just going to be versus films. I don't know what they're leading towards. If it's just going to be a huge monster squad, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. I don't know about this one. What do you ladies think?
Yeah, I also do not know. Yeah, I don't know about the universe. I don't know about the movie. All I do know is that she didn't really look like a mummy.
No, she doesn't. But I mean, then again, even in the most recent, the other Mummy film, the mummy didn't look like a mummy for a good portion of the time.
Yeah.
Once he starts regenerating, he just looks like a human.
I know, but this one, really, I didn't like it because of the eyes.
The double eye?
That creeped me out, and also, when her skin had, prickly things, and then, it just gave me, goosebumps. Not in a way where it was oh my God, that's, creepy, cool. Goosebumps, when I'm, how I'm afraid of the holes, and then,
a trypsophobia or something, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not tryptophobia, but something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
So that kind of gave me a little bit of that. So I didn't want to feel that way. If it weren't for that, I probably would actually see it, because I like, just an action movie in general, and Tom Cruise does good action movies.
His films have, strangely enough, been getting better and better as of late.
Yeah.
I know I never saw it, but I heard Edge of Tomorrow was a fantastic sci-fi film.
I really wanted to see that.
I heard the most recent Mission Impossible was very good.
Really
yeah,
fucking good.
And his action films are getting better and better. So it only infers that this one should be good.
Yeah, so that's probably, again, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to see it, but if it was on Netflix and it was Confucius and I felt just staying in and watching a movie, that might be one that we would watch.
Okay. Goddess?
I would watch it. I think the scene that they keep showing in the trailer when they're in the plane, and it's kind of falling or plummeting, whatever, and they just keep rolling around, it always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. But.
No, but I know what you mean, because it's really absurd and stupid.
You could easily
I can just imagine them filming it, and I'm like, okay, everyone fall this way.
You could easily insert Benny Hill music into that scene.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, do you like the old, Universal Monsters? Did you ever watch them?
No, I've never seen
any. I've never seen it. I know, it's hard.
No, I feel so weird about this one. I'm right on the fence. Yeah. I think we're all just on the fence.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty meh. Just meh.
And what I'm afraid of is that all moviegoers are going to feel that way. And you don't want to have your movie public going meh when they're walking into your film.
But so long as they're walking into it.
Well, will they? If this... What? What are you doing?
What that note is. I can't find it. You're fine. Continue.
I am afraid that this is not going to do well. And they're trying to set up, again, this whole big universe. If this tanks, if this does not do as well as they expect, what's going to happen? They've set up this whole budget for this massive universe, and it could just fall apart on them. I think they are
I feel
banking way too much on the success of this film.
I feel like what they've done though is like just kept pushing and pushing and pushing it for the universe though, because like didn't they want to start with like fucking I Frankenstein and like
they wanted to start with Dracula
Untold,
but
and, like,
I don't
they
know if
didn't
that's
do-
actually tying into this anymore.
Exactly.
now.
That's what I mean. Like, I think they're just going to keep pushing the universe further and further back if, like, they're like, yeah, you know what? If it's not going to, like, until we make that one movie that is actually going to work, that's when we're going to start this universe up. Like, that's going to be the formula that we're going to base everything else on. But until
Okay.
they do, because, like, it doesn't make sense for them to actually dump all that money into, you know, the huge universe if this doesn't do well, right?
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Money, money, money.
Mummy, mummy, mummy. Sorry. We're gonna wrap it up on that. I want to thank the Fangirl Extraordinaire for coming by.
Bonjour.
That's hello.
I don't know French.
It's au revoir.
I want to say bonjour. Yeah.
It's not aloha. You can't say it for both.
I can.
Okay. I want to thank the Goddess of Gore for coming by.
Mm-hmm.
And I, once again, am the Projectionist. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a very good day. Take care.
Guten Tag.
Can